Let's be real. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna tell you about VIPKid today. My name is Teacher Diana, and I've been working for VIPKid for 2 years. Today, we're gonna have a little chat about VIPKid and what it's really like to work for this company. First of all, I'm gonna start off with my big three pros, 3 cons. I know you want the juicy stuff first, so we're gonna do the cons. So number 1 is the hours. It's pretty early in the morning, and I'm on the eastern side of the United States, so it's not even as early as it can get. So the peak hours are 6 to 8 a.m. right now, and that will bump back to from 7 to 9 in March. However, that means I'm getting up at about 4:40. I could probably get up at 4:30 each morning and working from 5 to 8. And yeah, it starts to take a toll on your body a little bit. So I have to take naps, usually with my son. I have a 2-year-old. And so that's kind of it gets tiring after a little bit. So that's my biggest con. Second is bookings. I think it's a little bit misleading. When you get hired, I've been asked several times, what are the hours? And yes, there are peak hours, but it doesn't mean you'll necessarily be working those right away. It might take you a few months to get parents and students booking you, and so you'll actually have those hours filled with time slots, with classes. Building your bookings takes a little bit of time and can be kind of discouraging at the beginning. At least for me, it took me a few months, and there are other things that you can do, but it's not what you expect, and so I think that's a little confusing. It doesn't make sense that you're not going to have set classes right at the beginning, so it takes time to build those. The third thing is, because you are depending on the internet, sometimes if you have internet issues and your internet doesn't work, or you don't show up to class because of an internet issue. For example, one time I wasn't able to get into a classroom. It was still loading, and it had only been like 1 or 2 minutes. And then I noticed they marked me as a teacher no-show, and I was sitting right there waiting for the classroom to load. So I was a little bit frustrated with that. It worked out. I was able to send my student an e-card. Hey, I'm sorry I missed class. I had internet issues. Because of that, it's kind of the beauty of the job that you can do it from home, but also can be really tricky sometimes and not work in your favor. So those are my 3 big cons: the hours, bookings at the beginning, and just the internet issues sometimes. Also, when you do get a teacher no-show like that, I was charged. So instead of getting paid, what I usually get paid $10 for a 25-hour class, they actually charged me $10, so I had to pay that. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like I missed a whole lot of classes, but I know that's been really frustrating for some other teachers. If you miss like 6 classes or something, that's $60 you have to pay because maybe you were sick or your internet wasn't working or something. They will work with you. You can try, sending an email or kind of an appeal, but sometimes if you're not able to make it, it costs you money. On the flip side, my 3 biggest pros are, number 1, because I get to work from home. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, and the only reason I even looked into this was because I wanted to stay at home with my son, who you can probably hear in the background because he's down here playing while I'm making this video. Beauty of the job, your child can come to work with you, sort of, not really in the classroom. He's asleep then, but during the day, video time, yeah, he can be here. So working from home, this is great for stay-at-home moms, but honestly, I wish I knew about this before I started or became a stay-at-home mom, because I think as a brick and mortar teacher, I would have loved to do this. I would have loved to have a side gig, something extra, one-on-one interactions with students. I really would have liked it, and I think the flexibility of the job is fantastic. So working from home, remote flexibility, huge pro. Number 2, I am a teacher. I got a teaching degree. I love the human interaction in the morning with the students. I really just enjoy teaching, and there's not a lot of lesson prep. I might spend a few minutes looking over the lessons at night if they're not one that I'm familiar with. Most of the time, I just get up and just go, and because I've taught enough lessons, I know what to expect and how to teach it. So it is fun to be able to teach simple concepts, grammar, reading, without having to do a lot of lesson prep. and I love teaching. Number 3 is I feel like the pay is worth it. Most teachers get what's called a base pay of $8. So per 25-minute class, you get paid $8. Plus, you get another $1 if you show up, which bumps it to $9 per half an hour. And then if you get 45 half-hour classes, so like 22 and a half hours that you teach per month, then each class gets another $1. So once you hit the 22 and a half hours per month, then you get up to $10 per half hour or $20 an hour. Also, many teachers do just what's called short notice, so you don't open your class slots before the 24-hour mark. So less than 24 hours ahead of when the class starts, you open your slots up and you get booked short notice. When you teach short notice classes, you get an extra $2, which could raise your pay or can raise your pay up to $22 an hour. Now, this is before taxes, but still pretty good, especially working from home. Yeah, that's awesome, in my opinion. So those are the 3 cons and 3 pros. Now, if you have extra time, I'd like to go into a little more detail about some other things, but I wanted to give you the big 3 first. So if you want to take that, great. And this is Zachary.